No offense.
Erin Blanchfield versus Molly
I
McCann.
actually am. I'm actually taking Molly McCann on this. I know she's a huge underdog, but I believe the hype. I think she's the real deal. I think she's got a lot of power for the women's divisions, and I think she's gonna knock her out in the second round and make a huge
I
statement.
yeah. I'm afraid Erin Blanchfield might win because she's a really good grappler from what I've heard, but I'm gonna go with Molly McCann just by the hope of some good entertainment. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Molly McCann by second round knockout.
I honestly think that Blanchfield or whatever. I think she's gonna come out. I think she's gonna have some success in the first round with the grappling, but I think in the second round, I think Molly McCann is just gonna catch her and knock her out. So that's
Yeah.
my prediction. Dominic Reyes versus Ryan Spann. I think Dominic Reyes is gonna make a statement and win. Actually, honestly, I think he's gonna win by unanimous decision. I think it's gonna be his first. Like this is feels like kind of like a Costa Rockhold situation where it's a guy you take a guy who used to be very talented, who was very like there's a ton of hype around. He loses a few fights. You give him a guy who in Ryan Spann who isn't too hard of an opponent, and then you expect him to just to get rid of him easily. But I think it's going to take a little bit longer. However, I think he's going to win 3-0 in terms of the rounds. So I think he's going to win by unanimous decision. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think Ryan Spann is too good. I think this is just a fight that the UFC are just setting up to help Dominic Reyes get back into things.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Ryan Spann, he's got big power, but he's not all that good. I think Dominic Reyes is
Still
I
good.
think he's good enough to get past Ryan Spann. I think he's good enough to evade the power and just, implement his own game plan and impose his own will. And I think he'll win either by decision or I think he'll get a second or early knockout.
Yeah, I Dominic, that's that. I'm actually looking forward to that fight a lot.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
In another fight I'm looking forward to very much, the Brad Riddell versus Moicano. I think this is going to be a banger of a fight. Brad Riddell coming off a loss against Jalen Turner. Moicano coming off a loss against RDA, right? Uh, but I believe it was on short notice. So I'm picking Brad Riddell. I know Moicano is pretty good on the ground, but I don't necessarily think it'll come down to that. And I think Riddell will probably win by unanimous decision. I think he'll get back in the top 12 of the division or something like that, top 10
Yeah.
maybe. Not top 10, top 12 to 15. Like he'll get back in that range. Yeah, so I'm really looking for that fight. I think this could be an absolute banger. I think Moicano always puts up good fights, and same with Brad Riddell. They're always an entertaining fights.
Yeah. Moicano, he does have a decent submission game, but I honestly, I don't know. This is a tough one because Brad Riddell, he got submitted by Jalen Turner last time out. Um, man, I don't know, man. Brad Riddell, he hasn't looked that great in his last few fights. He's got rocked by Turner, got finished by Fiziev. Sure, he's good, but I don't know. I don't know if he's as good as people think. I might go with honestly, I'm gonna go with Brad Riddell by I don't know, man.
I think
This is
by
one of those fights I just have a feeling that he's gonna lose. I don't know. I just
yeah,
think
I just
Moicano may
don't.
be able to submit him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit different because I think Jalen Turner obviously rocked him and then he submitted him.
Yeah,
Uh,
Turner's a great, a big, powerful guy too, and Fiziev is Fiziev.
yeah,
So
yeah, I think
you're
he
right.
does.
I mean, I think Brad Riddell could get it done.
I think he could do just enough to not get not get it taken to the ground, and then
Yeah,
standing, he's gonna win that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like Moicano isn't bad on the feet, but he's nothing special or anything. So I think I think it's gonna stay standing. I think Riddell is just gonna beat him up for 3 rounds. Moicano is a really tough guy. That's why I'm not taking him to get finished. But I think he's gonna get beaten up for pretty much 3 rounds. Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles. It's an interesting fight because I feel like this fight is meant to like set up, try to get Dan Hooker back in like get his groove back. But I honestly think he may lose, and I think he may get knocked out once again in the first.
Does Claudio Perez have any power?
Like not like not like not like really like he's not known for it, but he's. I just think Dan Hooker. I just like I think he's a shell of himself, and I think like anybody who can actually fight could really beat him. So Yeah, top division. And isn't Claude? How old is Claude Poulet?
He's 26 and he's got some really good submissions on his record. He's only got one loss in the UFC, which is in 2016. He got TKO'd, but he submitted Felipe Silva, one decision over Marcos Mariano. 2021, a submission over Chris Grutemizer, some weird name, a decision over Jordan Levitt.
Oh, he beat
Uh, Jordan
Clay.
Levitt, the same guy Paddy Pimblett beat, a decision. Then he submitted Clay Guida this year, which is a good win. Um,
Yeah, this guy's not bad.
Not bad. You know, Dan Hooker hasn't really looked all that good in his last few fights. And
Since the
I don't
Poirier,
know, it's kind of hard to pick Dan Hooker. How old is Dan Hooker?
Dan Hooker. I mean, I think he's like 32, but he's an old 32.
32. Yeah, he is an old 32, man. He's almost 33. He's
Oh,
taken shitloads of damage. Um, honestly, man, honestly, I'm gonna go with Claudio Puelles.
I actually think he submits him. By the way, I'm changing
I
my.
think he's gonna submit him, bro.
I think he submits him in
Yeah,
the second. I think he submits him in the first or second round.
yeah,
Honestly, I just
yeah.
think
Let's go with Claudio Puelles
the dude,
submission.
the dude can't catch a break. Um,
Yeah,
Frankie Edgar versus how do you say his name?
Chris Gutierrez. I'm going with Gutierrez by
Yes.
TKO.
So am I. I think first round TKO. Um,
Yeah,
I saw you talking about this fight on your TikTok. I think
yeah,
I
man.
agree with you. The retirement fights and pay-per-views, like who cares? Like nobody
Yeah,
cares. You would have a
yeah,
retirement fight in the prelims, like you know what I'm saying? And
yeah. Like this Frankie Edgar. Like first of all, I understand the retirement fight. Like, but like I don't know. It's not like a big thing. Like I feel like Dominic Reyes and Span should be in on here instead.
even Molly McCann versus Aaron Blackblad.
Molly McCann or even fucking Brad Riddell, man. I don't understand the hype around Frankie Edgar right now. I mean, listen, how is he still ranked at bantamweight? Like, I'm gonna be real, just a hot take. Frankie Edgar sucks.
Dude,
Like
he's
the guy's not very good, bro. Anymore. He's not very good.
not anymore.
Anytime he fights a top guy, he gets knocked out. Sure, he was a beast back in the day, lightweight champ, but he's too old. And I
Yeah,
don't care about this guy. Like, put
nobody
him on main event to fight night for God's sake. It's better than what we got last weekend. Goodness.
definitely, yeah, for sure.
I think he's getting knocked out. I don't know Chris Gutierrez, but I know Frankie Edgar's old and he ain't got a chin. So
I don't really understand this fight. I know Gutierrez has some power, so it's kind of like a stupid match in my opinion. So
yeah,
yeah, I think he's getting knocked out in the first round. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. I'm picking Dustin Poirier by decision. You're picking Chandler by
I'm
decision.
gonna pick Chandler by decision.
Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. Um, yeah, I think this fight all goes down, ends up going down to if Chandler's going to wrestle or not. If Chandler wrestles, he's going to win the fight. If he doesn't wrestle or doesn't wrestle enough, he's going to lose. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm down to. Esparza versus Wei Lee. I think Wei Lee's just going to knock her out in the first or second round, honestly. I think this is a complete mismatch. I know Esparza beat Rose, who beat Wei Lee twice. I know she beat Rose twice early on in her career also. But it's just fights make styles, and Wei Lee's a bit better of has a bit better takedown defense than Rose. I would say also Rose had the fear that like about when we say about also this is something that's a bit similar to Adesanya. Rose lost to Wei Lee. Rose lost to Sparza 9 years before, I think, or 8 years before previous or something, like a really long time ago, even longer than the Pereira
Yeah.
is fights. And she was even hesitant with Esparza. So
Yeah.
yeah, but anyways, back to that fight. I think Wei Lee smokes her, honestly. I think she knocks her out in the first or second round.
I think Zhang Weili is a beast. I mean, honestly, as you said, like, you know, styles make fights. And like, honestly, this is a great fight. I really think Zhang Weili is gonna win. And Carla Esparza, like,
She's kind of trash.
I mean, listen, man, she's a decent wrestler, but Zhang Weili is also a decent wrestler. And I saw a video of her picking up Francis Ngannou recently. She's really strong. She's
Yeah,
got big power, coming off of a big knockout win over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, which was a crazy spinning back fist
yeah.
KO, which is ridiculous. I'm gonna go with Zhang Weili. She's one of my favorite fighters, especially probably my favorite female fighter for sure. So I can't wait to see this. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I've never seen a boring Zhang Weili fight, so I'm excited. I'm gonna go with Zhang Weili though.
Zhang Wei Lee, how?
I think she's gonna finish Carla Esparza.
Like earlier.
I think I'm gonna go with maybe a third round finish or maybe even a decision. But I just can't wait for Carla Esparza to lose this belt.
Yeah, I like Whaley as a champ for sure. It'll
Yeah,
be interesting to see like what happens with Rose though. Like, are they going to give Rose like what's going to happen with Rose? You know what I
I
mean? Like,
think Rose. Honestly, I think the UFC needs to stop kissing her ass and make her fight some contenders.
yeah, like I mean, yeah, she hasn't fought in a while. It's not like she took any damage in that fight, you know? Like,
Yeah,
why isn't she fighting? But anyways,
yeah,
yeah, Wei Lee definitely, in my opinion, the most entertaining women's fighter. I think she's like the best striking women's fighter there is right now, at least the best boxing, in my opinion. So I
yeah.
think Wei Lee is going to knock her out in the first or second round. Pereira versus Adesanya. If you guys haven't watched the video on us talking about it and breaking it down, go check it out. But Pereira, I got Pereira by third round KO. I think the first round, I think it'll be close, but then I think Pereira will land a really big shot that'll kind of wobble Izzy a little bit, and I think they'll give him the round. I think Izzy will come out really good in the second round. I think it'll be a bit emotional though, but I think he'll have fight a really good second round, and then I think in the third round, Izzy will be still being very emotional, being a little bit too aggressive, a little bit reckless for Israel Adesanya's liking. And then I think he's gonna get knocked out by like a left hook or something. I don't think he'll be I don't think he'll go to sleep, but I think he'll get knocked down. And then I think he'll like there'll be some follow-up shots to finish him. But yeah,
Yeah,
what do you
I think so too. I think I have a similar prediction. I think the first round Pereira is going to land something nice, and I think in the second round, third round, Izzy's gonna maybe fight a little more defensive or maybe fight a little emotional. But either way, at some point, he's going to be caught when he's trying to lean back, and I think Pereira lands that left hook and puts him out.
yeah.
Second or third round. I'm gonna go with second or third round KO.
Yeah, no, that fight that I'm really looking for this. I'm really looking for this card overall. I mean, there's so much on it. Like, I mean, you we talk about the best cards of the year. Like, this has to be one or two.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, you have Israel Adesanya versus Pereira, Esparza, Wade, Poirier, Chandler, Hooker. That's a decent fight. Brad Riddell, Moicano, Dominic Reyes, Span. I mean, there are a lot of good fights on this card, and I can't wait to see it. Honestly, I mean, even the first two fights on the night, Jackson Arce and Oldberg and Negu Mariano, these are great fights. So this is a good card. I'm really happy with it, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to see it.
I think the thing also about this card is like I feel like the prelims are a bit better than UFC 280, even though the UFC 280 prelims were
Oh
very good.
yeah. And the UFC 280 had a lot of grappling, which isn't always, super entertaining and fireworks, but this is going to be a lot of striking matchups. I think this card will overall be better than 280. I mean, 280 was decent in hindsight, but like I think this card will outperform it. Will it outsell it? No way. I mean, I don't think Adesanya can really sell that big. I mean, listen, I understand the hardcores are interested in this fight, but Adesanya back in the day when he was coming up and he had a lot of these finishes, sure. But I think the casual fans, the people that really make the pay-per-views skyrocket, sometimes I don't think they're going to be interested in Adesanya, no matter who he's taking on.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to sell that much.
What is your sleeper fight of the night?
Oh, sleeper fight of the night. I'm gonna go with Dominic Reyes and Ryan Spann, or I'll go with Brad Riddell, Renato Moicano.
Yeah, I think for me it's Brad Riddell Moicano. I don't know why. Oh, that is the
I think that's gonna be the fight of the night.
yeah. I think that has fight of the night all over it. I also think, I mean, Poirier Chandler. I think has fight of the night
Yeah,
all
sure.
over it also. But that's not a sleeper fight, obviously.
Yeah,
And I think the most boring fight of the night. I think it's gonna be. I mean, I just think the thing about the Wei Lee fight, it's like I know that Waylay's gonna have an entertaining finish and stuff, but I just don't think that's gonna be a very competitive fight. You know what I'm saying? I just think Sparks are just gonna get knocked out, and I just feel like we'll be like, all right, time for Adesanya to fight. You know what I mean? Like I don't
yeah,
think it's gonna be like anything
yeah,
that
man.
crazy. But no, I think this card's amazing. I think it'll really live up to the hype. You know, but I'm